Well, good morning. Let me just adjust this real quick. Hi. So yes, I have not done my makeup yet. But no, this is not a makeup video. I just thought it would be a good place to start because I'm having a little bit of fun here. So I've kind of talked before about the reason I did makeup isn't because I feel like I have to do makeup. I do makeup because I have fun doing makeup. And I feel like that's a really important distinction. So I'm not doing my makeup because I feel like I'm not pretty without it, or I feel like if I don't wear it, everyone's going to question me, which they might, but that's not why I wear it. I do it because it's fun. Now, I don't always do it because, yeah, it's a lot of work. Because I like doing things a very specific way that's usually like the right way. Air quotes, because everybody does their makeup really differently. But I do it the way that I have most fun. So, like if you noticed earlier, I had marks everywhere in very weird patterns in the areas that I wanted it. But I had some fun with it. Because as you can see, it goes away. Once I finish blending and pressing it into my skin and all that good stuff, you won't know what marks used to be there. You'll probably know, if you know anything about makeup, that I'm wearing makeup. And if you watch this video, you will now know. Let me grab this without shaking the camera. But it's not something that you automatically assume. And I feel like that goes for a lot of things. And yeah, I've been in like a metaphor mood lately because the last few videos it's always like a metaphor for something. But I feel like we need to have more fun being ourselves. And that was really hard for me recently. And I keep saying that because this has been a really hard year. Not to say that a lot of good things haven't happened. A lot of good things have happened. But does it make the stuff that I've been going through any easier? Well, it might, but you know. So I try to find little easy ways for me to have fun, just doing things my way. So there's like a lot of different ways that people do their makeup. And I'm not here to tell you that your way is wrong or right. This is just the way I do my makeup. And the reason is quite simple. I have more fun this way. Easy as that. I think it's really important that I have fun doing it. Otherwise it becomes a chore and it becomes one of those things like, I don't know, the way we expect everyone to brush their teeth, I would expect myself to do my makeup. Because it becomes a hassle, it becomes a chore, and either I stop doing it altogether or I start being cranky while I'm doing it. So I have some fun with it. As you see, I make lines all over the place just for fun. The places that I need to put my makeup on. But I have fun doing it. And I feel like it's easy to forget to do that. To have fun doing things your way and try to let things become a chore. And I think it's easy, especially when you're doing something that you love for work. So if you're a teacher and you love teaching, it's very easy to get swept up in the, I gotta do this and I gotta do this and this is the things that I have to do, and start to feel like none of it's fun anymore. And I've gotten there before because I've actually stopped wearing makeup for long periods of time because it just became a hassle and a chore and I just didn't have fun doing it anymore. And it's not like I'm wearing it for anybody, I just decided that I didn't want to do it anymore because it wasn't fun. And I got back into it fairly recently because I had a subscription to a makeup service and decided to play around with some stuff, figure out how stuff worked. Because they send you like sample sizes, this size more or less. I just collected this thing to put them all in the same place. And you get to figure out if you like it, if you don't like it, if you know how to use it or don't know how to use it. They send you tutorial videos and all that stuff. And it makes it a little bit easier to play with it because it's something new. If you've never used it before, it starts to feel like, hey, I can mess this up and nobody can tell me anything because I've never used it before. So if it's ruined, I can just say, well, I tried. And even if you watch makeup tutorial videos on how to use some of the stuff, it still doesn't make it any easier if you've never used it before. And the only reason I can breeze through my makeup now and still try to keep a fairly consistent train of thought is because that I've been doing it for a while. And I have fun and how I like to do things and keep it doing it my way. And for a while, I was a little self-conscious about how I did my makeup because I feel like in general, I'm a very strange person. It's just part of my personality quirks. And it's really easy for me to get embarrassed about being myself. The reason being, I was bullied for a long time, and it was really, really hard to get over that. And I say really, really hard because here I am, I don't know, 7 years post-high school, and I'm still not over all of the bullying that I went through while I was in school. Because it was hard. One of the things that they don't really tell you or explain when they talk about bullying is the things that they bully you for. It's never, things that you can control. It's usually things that you can't control. Things that make you different. So I would get bullied for, I don't know, I wore glasses. And you can kind of see some of the lasting effects of that because I intentionally try not to ever wear my glasses out. I've done some things where I've posted pictures of myself in glasses just to kind of help myself, I guess, boost some confidence. But yeah, it's still hard. And it's not that I'm trying to get sympathy. I'm trying to explain why it's hard to be me sometimes. So after all of that, I've tried really hard to just be more myself. And sometimes it works out. Sometimes I make some really great friends, like some of my sister's friends who ended up being my friends, who I've talked about before, who were in my wedding, and my maid of honor, and one of my other groomsmen who was bridesmaids. He was in my wedding with me, and I met him while I was in college because we got along really well. And I helped him around when he was in college, and I was nothing but myself, and obviously, considering we're still friends to this day, we get along pretty well. And he likes who I am, even though we always get on each other's nerves, and we do argue. I'm not saying our friendship's perfect, but we don't ever ask each other to be different than who we are. Fairly important qualities in a friend. But outside of those, I guess, safe spaces for myself, it's hard to try to just be yourself because people will try to tell you over and over again that it's not okay. That you need to be like everyone else. Hadn't considered lipstick would make it harder for me to talk. But you need to remember that everyone is different. And you don't have to be like everyone else. And yeah, it makes it harder sometimes, especially in certain circumstances where it's easier to stand out. Like during Halloween, I used my theater expertise to dress up. And one of the things that we had to do as part of a work costume contest was sell your costume, essentially. So you had to act, which As I just said that I went to school for it. I did. And it was fun. And I did it me, but it was still hard. And I, in that moment, was very nervous and afraid. And while I'd gotten up to get in line, I still wasn't sure if I was gonna. And at some point, I was able to like fade into the background until one of my coworkers called me out. Which, thank you to her. I was like, okay, fine, I'll go up. And I did. And I went up and I did my thing. Ended up getting second place because everybody appreciated it and thought it was funny, which was the whole point. Try not to take myself too seriously. Okay, this is not what I thought it was. Maybe I should pay a little more attention to my makeup sometimes. And now I'm focused and concentrating so I can try to hopefully do successful eyeliner. But my point in bringing that up isn't to say that, like, hey, look at me, I won a contest. It was simply because it's easy sometimes. Do I get this? I always have trouble getting my lines right, but it would have been easy for me to just pretend like I wasn't going to go up or be awkward or uncomfortable, because it's a little hard to go up and perform in front of a bunch of people and to really expose yourself like that. But that's part of who I am. I enjoy going and acting and being that weird person in a crowd. It's part of what makes me me. And I don't regret doing it now because, well, like I said, I got second place, and I had a few people coming up to me afterwards being like, that was really good. And I was like, yeah, this is part of who I am. It's part of the things that I do. And I guess the whole point is try to have more fun being yourself and stop letting yourself be stuck on what other people think of you. Because that's not what matters in the end. Because the memories that I have of being truly myself are such happy memories. And I don't remember being self-conscious. I don't remember being uncomfortable. I don't remember all of the negative feelings that I might have been feeling. I just remember how much fun it was to do things my way. And while this bright pink lipstick or having a full face makeup just to go grocery shopping or do these videos is a little weird, I'm having fun. And I'm enjoying it. And it was worth it. And yeah, it's hard the first couple of times. And I've been doing it for a while and it's still hard. But one day it won't be. One day it'll be easier. And I'll wake up and not even have to think about it or give myself a pep talk or look in the mirror and be like, hey, listen, you got this. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise, and do the whole thing, because I'll have just gotten used to it. I'll have found my secret to confidence in just being myself, or I'll have just decided that it no longer matters, or I'll be cranky all the time whenever I have kids. Maybe that takes that long. But be yourself. And it doesn't always work out for you. Like I said, I've had a rough year. But I don't know if I've ever been happier. Because I know that the people who I've surrounded myself with in this particular part of my life are people who I know are going to be there and stand by me. I know are people who aren't going to just leave me. Because they're people who know who I am and stand by me for that. They're the people who stood by me on my wedding day. They're the people who stood by me while I was in high school and college and the last 2 years. And I would stand by them through it all. And it's easier to relax when you know that. When you know that the people that you've worked hard to surround yourself by actually accept you for who you are. It makes the whole everything easier to know that you have them. And if you're still struggling to find those people, don't worry about it. They'll come to you. Because none of the people I talked to in high school are friends with me today. I mean, I know a few of them. I've reached out to a few of them, but it feels like nothing sticks. And I still wish them well, but they're not the people who stand by me. And that was, first 18 years of my life? And then the next 4 years, I've met all of my friends. And that is just crazy to me because it's been 7 years, like I said, since high school? 7 years versus the 18 years. It took me 7 years to find all of my really good friends and to get better at making good friends. And 18 years to learn what it is like to be a fair weather friend or a friend of convenience. And the difference is I stopped pretending to be someone else so that people would stay. I stopped pretending to be different, to be more acceptable, so people would stay. And it's easier to say it from this side than it was when I started. And I'm not going to lie to you, I partly started because I was kind of tired of it all, of holding up a facade, and I was angry and frustrated, and I said, to hell with everyone else, and I'm going to do what I want. And that's just sometimes what it takes to push you that far, to try to finally let it go and be yourself. So have fun doing it. Do the crazy makeup. I used to walk out of my parents' house wearing bright blue eyeshadow that looked horrible because I didn't know how to do my own makeup, and I didn't have any friends who knew how or people who took time to teach me how. But I had fun learning, and now I have this entire vanity set up over here because I was kicked out of the bathroom for all of my junk. And I know how to use it, and I think I did a pretty good job. And I had fun along the way. So stop fretting if people don't stay. The right people will. And it's not easy. And if you need a friend to talk to, please feel free to message this page or comment on the video. I'd be happy to at least lend an ear. Advice if you want it. Probably advice if you don't. But enjoy the ride. It's the only one we have. Thanks for listening.